Okay, so coming to a nice tall seat. If you would like to, if you have blocks handy and you want to start maybe with a block between your feet, you could do one between your thighs too. Sometimes that just gives a little, some nice feedback, something to kind of squeeze into, kind of keep the alignment. And of course, not necessary. Sometimes just starting out, you want to be a little mellower. This will feel like a little too much, but if you wanted to do this variation today, you're more than welcome to. Let's go ahead and roll our shoulders back a few times before we sit quietly. Get all of the crunches out. Can roll in the opposite direction. And then let's roll back again a couple of times. And then just find that feeling of when the shoulder blades are rolling back and releasing down your spine, they're kind of squeezing in towards each other, but you get this openness across your heart and chest. So this is the feeling that we want as we're sitting here in our Tadasana, our mountain pose. So this gentle lift of the sternum up towards the ceiling. And then put your brain, as that sensation is happening, put your brain into your sit bones, into your feet. So there's this lift, but you're also grounding at the same time. It's like you're being stretched in opposite directions. You can allow your eyelids to close if they haven't already. And start to inhale and exhale through your nose. Just observe if one feels easier than the other starting out. And then try to find this sense of symmetry, this samavriti, even breathing. So the length of the inhale begins to match the length of the exhale. It could take several rounds of breath to find that. You might even want to count the breath silently in your head. Do a little check-in with your shoulders here, especially on the inhale. Are they starting to creep up around the ears? Just keep softening them down. Just here for a couple moments. So soaking up this stillness. This might be like the first time you've sat quietly today. It might feel really good. It might feel a little challenging. It might feel a little luxurious. It might feel like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. I should be doing other things. But just see if you can be here. Give yourself, your body, your brain permission to be quiet. There's always so much to do, so much to worry about, so much to get done. We'll all be there in an hour, but let's just take a little break to move in a different direction, to kind of draw inward. Do a little check-in. Find some movement in the body. Find our breath. Good. So just keep your eyes closed, but take a nice deep inhale through your nose. And this time open the mouth, sigh the breath out. Ha. Let's just do that a couple more times. Smooth, deep, full inhale. Ah. Good, and then you can gently blink your eyes open. Let's move right into some cat-cow. If you're working with the blocks and you want to continue to work with them, you're welcome to. If you want to just put them to the side for a moment, that's also fine. But let's also just bring our hands to our thighs as we inhale. Start to rock forward on the sit bones. It's kind of like a little seated cobra pose happening here. And then as you exhale, you rock to the backs of the sit bones. You round in the spine, especially the thoracic, the upper spine, chin towards chest. And then just finding this movement. And finding a pace today for you that feels really good. So you might be moving a little slower. That's particularly good if you're feeling like you need a little boost of energy. You're feeling a little lethargic today. If you're kind of experiencing the opposite, you're feeling a little, too energized or even anxious, see if you can slow your breath down, stretch it out, and notice if that starts to have a calming effect. And then while you're doing all of that, you're paying attention to your spine. You're just kind of noticing how it's feeling as you come into each of these postures here. Where are you a little tighter? Where is there a sense of ease? Noticing how as we do more and more rounds of this, things start to give way, open up. And then from here, let's just start to take this into those little pelvic circles or little Sufi rolls. You can move in one direction. And again, if you've got the block between your feet or your thighs, maybe that makes this feel a little different in your body. I'm finding that I'm almost getting a little more stretch, or at least I'm more conscious of the stretch happening in my lower back. Really nice work, everyone. You can begin to switch directions here. Great work. Let's come back to a nice tall seat. So find that mountain pose, and you can make any little adjustments that you want to here. I'm gonna go ahead and put this block down. If you do have a strap, go ahead and grab that now. If you don't have one, don't worry. If you're watching this on YouTube, you could always use a belt or a scarf or a long towel, or even like the arms of a sweatshirt would work. So lots of different things you can do here. And let's just do like our shoulder flossing here. So our shoulder humblers. So you're gonna hold onto the strap. I find that I have to go pretty wide, especially starting out. So kind of pulling the strap apart, take a nice deep inhale. And then as you exhale, you're gonna lean those arms back. And this is the part that can feel pretty tight. And then inhale, come on up. And then exhale, you're gonna release the strap forward. Of course, if this doesn't work in your body, inhaling, stretching up, because you've got some shoulder or neck stuff going on, you're dealing with an injury, an old injury, maybe you just want to go back to rolling your shoulders again. That would also work. So always assessing what's happening, and always try something. And if it just doesn't feel good, don't do it. As we start to warm up this shoulder girdle, perhaps you can find that you can start to sneak your hands in a little bit closer. And again, doesn't matter if that happens. It's just a few more full cycles here. You're going to start to feel that your shoulder area start to warm up a little bit. You're going to feel a little heat there. And so let's do one more full round. Whew, I'm feeling it. Good. And then you can just go ahead and you can just keep the strap on your thighs. Let's give the shoulders a little roll here. It's kind of get some circulation happening there again. And then let's go ahead and inhale, take the arms out and up. You're going to interlace your fingers, so palms face towards each other, and then you're going to bend your elbows. So it's almost kind of like you're cupping your the back of your head. Lean those elbows back. Now feel a stretch in the armpit chest area. Good. And then let's just flow a little bit with the breath. So nice deep inhale here. As you exhale, start to drop that right elbow down. Inhale, center. So we'll just do this side to side a couple of times. If it's too intense to have your fingers interlaced, you could grab your strap again. Kind of take your hands a little further apart. Try to keep shoulder blades releasing down your back. Nice work. Let's do like 2 more to each side, just flowing with the breath. And then we'll hold. And even here, can you keep pressing the shoulder heads back, kind of leaning those elbows back, even if it's just more of an idea. So the next time you're on that right side, just hold there. You could even press your head into that left arm elbow area, kind of lean it back. Maybe that will give you a little more stretch. Good. Inhale, center. And then exhale. And the same thing, leaning the elbows back. Keeping that breath smooth and steady. Okay, let's come to center. Let's drop to the right one more time. And then let's release hands here. Deep inhale. And then exhale. Start to find your side bend. So you're leaning to the right, but you're feeling this nice stretch through this left side of your body. Breath smooth and steady. You might be bringing your gaze up underneath your top arm. Okay, so let's bend the elbows again. Stay in the side bend. Interlace your fingers. Couple breaths. And then inhale. That wasn't a couple. I rushed that. Back to center, sorry. Exhale to the left, and then go ahead and release, and then really lengthen through that top arm as you root down into that right sit bone. So feeling this side stretch on the right side, this nice lateral stretch. How is this side different in your body? And again, maybe if it feels okay in your neck, you start to look up underneath that top arm. How is this side different? Let's bend the elbows again, interlace the fingers. So for real, a couple of breaths here this time. Maybe leaning those elbows back. Root into your sit bones on your inhale. Come back to center, and then you can just release the arms. Okay, so let's just find a little flow here. Let's move into some of our Ardha Surya Namaskara, our half sun salutes. If you wanted to take your blocks, if you have them, set them up on either side of your feet. It'd be really helpful as we fold in and extend into Ardha Uttanasana. Not necessary though, you can also use hands on legs, so lots of options. So just find your nice tall seat first and foremost. Make sure that you have this nice alignment so your shoulders are stacking over your hips, sit bones, your knees are stacking over your ankles. Release your arms by your sides. And then as we inhale, we stretch arms out and up. Maybe you gaze up and press palms. As you exhale, a couple ways to come in. You can reverse swan dive in. Feel really solid. You could also use your hands on your thighs, kind of sliding down your legs to help you release in. Feel your chin towards your chest here. As you inhale, this is where you might take your hands to those blocks. You could also have your hands on your shins or your thighs. Your chest extends forward, your gaze comes forward. Ardha Uttanasana. Beautiful. As you exhale, fold back in Uttanasana. And then rooting into your feet. And you can do that reverse swan dive out. You can roll up using your hands to help you press up. Gaze up, press palms perhaps. And then as you exhale, hands can come to heart center. You can take them out wide, whatever feels good. As we know, we can mix and match these. Inhaling, reaching Utthita Hastasana into Tadasana. Exhale, fold Uttanasana. Really lovely work. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold back in Uttanasana. And then use that rooting down feeling to come back into your extended mountain pose, Utthita Hastasana into Tadasana. Exhale, Samastiti, heave and standing hands together at your heart. So 3 more. You can move with me if you want. I'm not going to cue you. Just go at your pace. So it might be different than mine. You're not feeling the sun salutes today. Maybe you just come back into some cat-cow or you sit quietly. And if you are feeling sun salutes today, just let them feel really luxurious, really graceful. Find space and ease in your body. Find this sense of rhythm. Absolutely no rush. When you've completed your 3rd round, you just pause in your mountain pose, palms together at your heart, maybe gently bowing your head. And just taking several rounds of breath here and doing a check-in, noticing how you're feeling, observing the heat that you've created inside of your body. Maybe the heart's beating a little faster, maybe the breath has sped up. Trying to slow those things down with your breath, with your attention. And from here, go ahead and release your hands to your thighs. So still sitting nice and tall, making any adjustments if you need to. Let's get into the neck and shoulders a little bit. So as you exhale, just start to drop your chin down towards your chest. Most of us right away, those shoulders like to help out. So just keep them releasing down. I'm trying to just breathe a little space into the back of the neck. It's really, really tight. It doesn't want to let go. Inhale, lift your chin. And exhale, just drop your right ear towards your right shoulder. You know, in my body, it doesn't feel like it's going very far at all, but I'm feeling a pretty intense stretch. So on this opposite side, left side, scalene muscles on the sides of our neck, they work really, really hard. They're super small compared to the amount of work they're doing. So definitely a lot of tension can happen here. Just visualize your breath really creating space and ease, coming out some of the tangles that are happening, the knots. Inhale to center. And then exhale. Left ear towards your left shoulder. Again, keep that shoulder releasing down. Visualize the breath going to this left side of your neck. Good. Inhale up to center. Exhale again, chin towards chest. Just moving kind of slow today, holding the poses. Just allowing time, the breath to kind of ease things open. Right, inhale, lift your head. Good, and then just one more time. Let's exhale. Right ear towards right shoulder, but then go ahead and tuck your chin and just observe where that kind of shifts the sensation that you're getting. It stretches into some different places. Do a little mini check-in with your shoulders. Make sure that they're not getting over involved here. Good, untuck your chin and then inhale up to center. Exhale, left ear towards the left shoulder, and then drop the chin in towards the chest here. Breath smooth and steady, inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your nose. Just some slow, steady work here. Good. Go ahead and untuck the chin. Inhale up to center. And then one more time here. Give the shoulders a little roll out. Okay, so we're going to come into some version of Warrior II with our legs. We're going to do a little of our more shoulder opening as well. So again, just kind of have your strap or your prop handy. But we're going to go ahead and externally rotate this right leg. So that might be the tiniest amount. And you could honestly, you could just stay here too and focus more on the upper body. So really listening to what feels good for you. If you're finding this Warrior II sensation, this leg opening, do you want to land with your right knee over that right ankle? In regards to this left leg, it could stay here like it is, knee bent. You might take that leg to straight. A couple of us might open up that leg. If you're doing that, you're rolling to the inner edge of the foot. So this back hip is releasing down as this right hip is getting that nice opening. Then notice if your torso is leaning forward. Notice if you're turning to face towards that right leg. Let's keep our torso squaring towards the camera. And then from here, you can take that strap, place it over your right shoulder. Really good. So let's inhale. Take the arms out wide. So just coming into this classic Virabhadrasana 2 shape. And then let's spin the palms to face up towards the ceiling. Good. Inhale, stretch the arms up overhead. And then see if you can spin that right palm to face behind you. Bend the elbow. Good. And you're probably grabbing some strap here. You can take that left hand on top of your right elbow and gently press down. So this is like variation 1 for the arms. You might just stay here. This might be plenty. If you'd like to go a little further, go ahead and inhale, stretch that right or left arm rather out to the side. You're going to do a thumbs down. So you're getting that internal rotation. Then start to sweep that arm behind you. And this is where you might grab the strap. So you're really lifting up through that right elbow. You're pressing this left shoulder head back. So we have our Gomukhasana arms, our cow face arms, in our Virabhadrasana 2 legs. It's getting all kinds of fancy here. So you're welcome to stay upright like this. If you would like to, maybe find that little lateral stretch with your arms in this variation. So it's kind of like a reverse warrior happening. And in fact, if you wanted to play with that, you kind of got this bottom arm wrapped. You could reach it around that right waist and then maybe extend your right fingertips up. Feel those shoulder blades release down. These look fantastic. Maybe you're gazing up underneath that right arm. And then root down into your sit bones. Maybe root down into your feet as you inhale, upright yourself. Stretch your arms out. Find that Virabhadrasana 2. Gazing out over your right fingertips. And then as you exhale, just release your arms down. All right, so if you have that left leg extended off to the side, you can just kind of work your way back to center here. And we'll take that to the second side. So you can move your strap over to your left shoulder if you were using that. Just remember, side to side, the poses might look slightly different. So again, you could just stay here like this with your legs. That would work. It's available. Find a little external rotation in that left leg. So finding that nice hip opening. Maybe extending right leg to straight. Perhaps opening that leg up, rolling to the the inner edge of that foot. So this back leg is more neutral, whereas this front leg, we're getting that external rotation. Then again, notice if you're starting to lean forward or if you're bringing your torso to face towards that front leg, it's a different pose. So we're looking to square our torso to the camera. Good. And then you can just release your arms down here. And then we're going to inhale, reach them up and over. Hello, Amy. All right. And then spin that left palm to face behind you. Bend the elbow. And then you can take your right hand on top of that elbow and gently press down. And this can be a really, really nice stretch in that tricep, outer arm. This might be where you stay with your arms. So a good place to be. If you'd like to go into our Gomukhasana, our cow face arms, go ahead and inhale. Stretch that right arm out. And then we're going to find that internal rotation. So we do that by making a thumbs down sign. And then you can reach that arm back, bend the elbow, grab a piece of strap or a shirt. Just press your hand into the back of your hand into your back. So really working towards pressing this right shoulder head back, getting that shoulder opening. But at the same time, you're really lifting through that left elbow. And of course, you're breathing. It's hard to remember to do all of these things. There's so much happening at once. Even if you just get one of them, you're doing plenty. Good. So stay here like this. If you would like to find that reverse warrior sensation, so getting that lateral stretch, and a hinge at that right hip, lean to the right. And our arms are kind of basically there. So if you wanted to, if you're kind of got this wrap, half wrap, that right arm, keep that arm there, but maybe reach that left arm up. Gorgeous. This is a real pretty pose, a reverse warrior. It stretches into lots of places. Be looking up underneath that top arm. All right, we're going to inhale, upright ourselves, just find classic Virabhadrasana 2. Maybe bring your gaze out over those left fingers. Good, and then as you exhale, just release the arms by your side. When we come back to our Tadasana, our mountain pose. And let's do, I'm going to do a little neutral pose. So more of a pyramid pose or a crescent pose with a couple of different options for arms. Kind of depends on what you're feeling today. So I think that you can go ahead and get rid of your strap at this point. If you do have blocks, you might want to set those up again. All right, so neutral pose, both hips facing forward. We're going to go ahead and just keep this right knee bent, but perhaps go ahead and extend that left leg to straight. So let's all inhale, take the arms out and up here. So more of like a crescent pose. Maybe bring your gaze up. Maybe press palms. Good, and then let's exhale, take the arms out wide. Start to hinge forward. And then this is where you can take your hands to those blocks, and you'll probably need to walk them forward. If you don't have blocks, hands can be on thighs. We're trying to keep this lengthening through the sides of our waist. So there's a little back bend in the upper body, even though this is a forward fold. This is a deep stretch into this left hamstring. If it's too intense, you take a little bend in the knee. That's going to take some of the work out. So we're going to do this pose twice on each side. The second time we're going to have another arm, like shoulder opening variation. But I want you to remember this position because you're welcome to do this again. All right, so as you inhale, lengthen forward. And then a couple options in terms of coming up here. So you just might walk your hands up your legs, upright yourself. Maybe you bring your hands to your hips, elbow squeeze in, and then a little core helps you to lift your torso up. And I want to do one other thing here. So we're going to inhale, take the arms out wide. As you exhale, just find a little twist to the left. Like reaching out through your fingertips. And then let's just release the arms down for a couple of breaths. So you can grab a piece of chair behind you with that left hand. Right hand can come to that right thigh. A couple of us might take it to that left thigh. A lot of that just depends on how your body's feeling today. For some of us, twisting is pretty easy. For others, it's quite intense. And that can just depend on the day as well. Good, we got one more deep inhale. And then we're going to exhale, unwind, come back to center. Let's go ahead and rebend that left knee if you have that leg extended. And then we'll extend that right leg. So your sit bones are pressing down, both hip bones are facing forward. This is a neutral pose. Let's inhale, take the arms out and up. So more of a crescent pose to start. So feeling all of this elongation through the sides of your waist. You could imagine that somebody is holding onto your wrists and giving you a little traction. Can you hold onto this length even as you take your arms wide and start to hinge forward? And again, hands on thighs. Maybe they find those blocks. You can just kind of visualize that right hip drawing back as that left hip draws forward. You're paying attention to how this right hamstring is feeling. How does it compare to your left side? And then check in with your breath again. Make sure you have that smooth, steady inhale through your nose, that smooth, steady exhale through your nose. Good, and then as you inhale, you can use your hands to help you roll up, or if you've liked that variation, it's kind of like a little core work. Hands to hips, just upright yourself, beautiful. Inhale, take the arms out wide. Exhale, little twist to the right, not so little, it's a pretty big twist. Keep those shoulder blades releasing down, so keep those shoulders out of your ears. Really reaching, and then go ahead and release. Hands down, and you can use that leverage of hands against chair and leg to help you press those shoulder heads back. Good, deep inhale. As you exhale, unwind, come back to center. Okay, so we're going to the first side again. So extending that left leg. And I'm gonna just spin around here for a minute. So as I said, you can just do this forward fold again. So pyramid pose, getting into that stretch. If you would like to play with adding a little core and then getting into the shoulders again, you might find a different arm variation. So making fists with your hands and then pressing your fists in towards each other. That would work. You could hold opposite elbows. Few of us might be able to play with reverse namaste. That's a pretty intense stretch. So again, fist works really well. Holding elbows works really well. All of this might be too intense in the shoulders, like, so not in the cards for you. So again, you can just come back to the original variation. And if you're doing that, you know how to work your way down, find that extension. But if you wanted to play with your shoulder variation here, find that. So shoulder heads are pressing back. Feel that lift of your sternum. And then as you exhale, you hinge forward about halfway. And it's a lot of effort to keep yourself here. So definitely some core happening. You're breathing, you're finding that extension through both sides of your waist, and you're definitely getting a nice big stretch in your shoulder. Really great. So if you're kind of clasping opposite elbows, just make a note of what arm is on top. Let's all just release if we have a shoulder variation here. So maybe find those blocks again. And then an opportunity to come into our twisting triangle here. So keeping that right hand pressing down, you can bring your left hand to your hip and then start to wrap those right ribs up towards the ceiling. Really nice. You could play with reaching that left arm up. It's like our triangle pose arms. We're really, really twisting in the torso. Try to fill up on your inhale. It is challenging on these deep twists. Of course, you modify any way that you need to. Right, one more deep inhale. Exhale. Unwind. Use your hands to help press up. Or you can take your hands to your hips and with a nice flat back. Come on up. Beautiful work. Second side. So extending that right leg to straight. So if you just want to take kind of this classic pyramid pose version, you know we've done that. So just go there. If you wanted to find a little more stretch in your shoulders again. So again, you can make those fists or you can grab opposite elbows, but then try to find that way if you're doing that variation that feels a little funny, a little unfamiliar. That's probably the way you need to go. And then really work on leaning those shoulder heads back behind you. So there's that sense of cobra pose in the upper body, that lift of the sternum. And then keep outer hips squeezing in towards each other. That's going to help you to find that core strength that you need to start to hinge forward about halfway. Not easy. A lot of things going on. So in addition to this core work that you're getting, this deep, deep shoulder stretch, perhaps just hanging out halfway over the leg also serves to deepen that stretch that you're getting in the hamstring, that right hamstring. I wish I could say that I'm the one that made up these poses, but it's not me. I'm just doing the things that have come before. I did not develop this particular brand of torture. It is a hurt so good kind of a torture though. All right, let's take one more deep inhale. And then go ahead and you can release your hands down. And then if you are wanting to go for that twist, rooting that left hand into a block is really nice. You could also have it on this leg. Didn't say that on the other side, but that would work. Y'all are really good at making these variations. And then actually let's start with just right hand on right hip, kind of leaning that elbow back. So this is a great place to stay. This is plenty for many of us. You did want to extend that right arm up. You're welcome to do so. So your shoulder blades are stacking on top of each other. You're extending arms. It's like you have giant wings. Big, big pose here. Parivrtta Trikonasana, so twisted triangle. One more deep inhale. Exhale, unwind, and then use your hands to help you press up. Hands to hips, roll on up. Ooh, good. Bend that right knee. Let's just give the arms a little wiggle out. Good. And then let's move into kind of just shift gears here. So those really, really big pose, let's start going in the opposite direction as we wind down here. So we're going to do our Viloma I breath. So that's our 3-part breath. So find a nice, comfortable posture. If you're familiar with this breath and you know that it doesn't work for you, if you started and it's just not happening today, you can just sit quietly and meditate. You could do your box breath, anything that feels good for you. Go ahead and allow your eyelids to close. Let's take a nice deep inhale together. Full, complete exhale. And then you're going to inhale 1/3 of the way up. So just inhale the breath to your belly button, pause. Inhale another 1/3 of the way, floating ribs, pause the breath. Inhale all the way up underneath your collarbones. Gentle lift of your sternum, you're pausing your breath. Notice if the shoulders are trying to help out, soften them down. And then turn the breath around, exhale the air out through your nose. Empty out. And when you reach the bottom, just go ahead and take a couple rounds. Recovery breaths, so just breathing normally, inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your nose. And we're going to do a couple more rounds together. So smooth, deep, full inhale. Full, complete exhale. Feel completely empty, little pause at the bottom of the breath. Inhale 1/3 of the way up. Pause. Inhale another 1/3 of the way up. Pause the breath. And then inhale all the way up underneath your collarbones. Pause. And slowly exhale the air out through your nose. Take a couple rounds of recovery breath. So I want to give you the opportunity to do a couple rounds of this Viloma breath just on your own without my guidance. You can kind of soak up the stillness and play with how long those retentions are. So just at your own pace, do 2 more complete cycles, and taking as much rest in between each one as you need to. There's absolutely no hurry if you're working on your Viloma breath still, but we're going to move towards a final resting pose at some point. So some form of Shavasana. And so letting go of the idea of having to control your breath, of having to control your body. You might just stay seated exactly where you're at, but it kind of just feels a little different. You might come into classic Shavasana laying down on the floor if that's available to you. Sometimes a forward fold can feel nice here. So if there's a table in front of you, you'd find a little supported child's pose. And then let everything really slow down. Really relax. And we just take a few moments to soak up the stillness here. To enjoy the benefits of our yoga practice, to give our brain, our body the opportunity to assimilate the work that we've done. Shavasana. Asato ma satgamaya. Tamaso ma joy tirgamaya. Mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Take a smoother, deeper, fuller inhale. And open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. Start to bring some gentle movement back to your body. So like whatever that looks like, wiggling, stretching. And you'll eventually land with your hands in a pile on top of your heart. Send yourself love and gratitude, your body love and gratitude. We send each other love and gratitude. The gift to be able to work like this, to move and breathe like this. Promise yourself you're going to carry this good feeling you've worked so hard to create with you into the rest of the day, week, weekends ahead. And finally, just bow your head with a smile. Terrific work today, everybody. Thank you.